Hello everyone, Bridget here and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the first 10 pages of your screenplay. Now, it is widely known in the screenwriting community that the first 10 pages are the most important pages in your whole screenplay, because that is the part of your screenplay that the producers you're sending it to will pay attention to. Since they're going through so many scripts, they're not going to read the whole script of every single one. So you need to make a strong impact with your first 10 pages. Now, I have 4 tips that I'm going to share with you about making your first 10 pages more impactful. I am going to be including examples in this video, but there aren't really spoilers because it's only the first 10 pages. So let's get into it. Number 1, introduce your characters. Your characters are the most important part of your story. And creating empathy with your characters is the most important part of your first 10 pages. You want to show your audience and the producers that are reading it what your character is going through, why we relate to them, and what their everyday life is like. It's important to note that the inciting incident doesn't need to happen in the first 10 pages. A lot of people think it needs to happen in the first 10 pages, but sometimes it doesn't happen within the first half of the screenplay. Really, what you need right now is to create connection between your characters and the audience. An example of this is the first episode of The Magicians. In the first 10 pages, we are introduced to Quentin Coldwater, our main character, and we are shown that he is rather shy, he's rather an outcast from his friend group, and even though he has one close friend, he still feels very alone. This sets up our empathy with him, since a lot of us, probably all of us, have felt at one time or another that we are alone in our experiences. And so we can relate to him in his struggle to find a place that he belongs. Number 2, introduce your world. Even in stories that are set in our world, you need to introduce the boundaries of your world. You need to show what city you're in, what kind of class your characters live in, and just a sense of the atmosphere that we're walking into. You need to remember that you're not the tour guide of your world. And hitting your audience over the head with a ton of exposition is not going to be the same as introducing them to your world. One way that I've had it explained that I really like is that you're a friend showing your audience around a place you know really well. You're not going to tell them every single detail of every single thing. You're going to introduce the really important stuff and leave out things that they might wonder, but that aren't really important to the story. An example of this is Knives Out. When we get introduced into this world, we're shown a magnificent house that has all these hidden doors. It has giant chessboards and really extravagant paintings of the owner. It gives us the sense of who lives in this place. If it was a totally different house, we'd have a very different view of who this guy was. We also get introduced into Marta's house, and we get a view into her living situation, which gives us more of a sense of the relationship that she had with the owner of the house. Number 3, establish your genre and your tone. In the first 10 pages, you really want to play into your genre. And I know this seems counterintuitive because a lot of people want to stray away from genre because it seems very confining and they don't want to be like everyone else. But there is a reason that we have genres, and that is because audiences want to know what they're walking into. So if you are doing a sci-fi piece, you want to play into some tropes of genre fiction, because then your audience knows what to expect later on. You can implement twists later on, but it's definitely not going to be in the first 10 pages. You want to set the stage for what your audience thinks they're going to be getting, even if there is a twist. Even in the case of a twist, you always want to keep the tone consistent. And that's why starting it off in the first 10 pages is so important. You want the dialogue and the character interactions to be consistent through your whole piece so that we feel like we're watching the same show. Number 4 is find a dramatic question. The dramatic question can also be seen as your theme or the character's overall goal. We want to have something that connects with us. The most impactful stories are ones that we can take away with us. And having a question, something that we want answered in ourselves, is so important to have your story hit home with your audience, because we want to find a place where we belong, like in The Magicians. We want to know if nerds are just nerds, or if people are dimensional, like in the movie Booksmart. We want to know that even if our circumstances are low, that we can be important, like in Harry Potter. So many stories that have made a big impact have these big questions, and it doesn't actually have to do with the story arc. It has to do with the characters, because the characters are what drive your story, in case you were wondering. Now I have a few bonus tips that I want to share that aren't necessarily to do with the writing section, they're more to do with mindset, which I think is super important, because I think a lot of people go into the first 10 pages thinking it's gonna be great, I'm gonna like nail it in one draft, it's gonna be amazing. I've fallen into this trap so many times, but that's just not the way it goes. We get so invested in our own story that we think it's amazing, and then we hand it off to someone else to give us feedback, and it's not. And that's okay. The first draft is just the first draft. And all the things that we see on screen, they are probably the 10th, 20th, some astronomical number. They're probably the latest draft. They are insanely far along, and your first draft is just where you need to start. Everybody starts on the first draft. There's no other way to go. And writing those first 10 pages is so important. But remember, this is just the beginning. And keeping all these things in mind that I just shared is so important. It will help you move forward through your story as you keep working through those mass amounts of drafts, because it will connect more with you. You need to have all these things in mind so that you stay connected, so that you can connect with your audience. That's the tagline. Print that. That was good. I like that. That was a good one. I think that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below if there's any questions you have, any topics you want me to cover. I'm going to be doing a lot more writing videos. So yeah, leave a comment down below if you're a fellow writer and you have any questions about different parts of writing. And other than that, just leave a like down below. It helps me out a lot. And hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss an upload, and I will catch you all on Saturday with another video. Bye!